Zack Bayrouty, though, is on with us right now with the River Cats. And I'm sorry, Zach, you're on a plane for where? Where are you about to go?
Well, we're landing in Houston, but the final destination is Sugar Land, Texas. So it's about 20 miles or so from Houston.
Okay, and who are you playing here? Are the Savannah Bananas going to be there? What's happening?
Used to be a team called the Sugar Land Skeeters, which was like one of the great names of all time in minor league baseball. But that was when they were an independent league team. And then Major League Baseball took over the minor leagues, and they absorbed the Sugar Land franchise in to be the AAA affiliate of the Astros, and at which time they changed their name to the Space Cowboys.
Beautiful.
Zach,
beautiful.
Is Luis Matos being wrapped in ice so as to not catch fire to the entire plane?
Dibs, no joke. Like, I came in, I rode in the parking lot today. We're about to get on the bus to the airport, and he walked past my car, and I felt the need to really make sure that I stayed far away. I was like, I didn't even want to drive past the kid right now. That's how much you don't want to mess with what's in his orbit.
Yeah, Zach, don't even talk to him. I don't even want you to look at him. I don't want you to do not announce his at bats. Zach is the voice of the River Cats, and if you're a Giants fan and you don't know this, Luis Matos is out of his mind. He is going crazy. His OPS is like 1,100. He's been there for 4 weeks, and he is knocking on the door, but the Giants have no spot for him. So, Zach, first off, tell us what you see. What do you got? What do the Giants got down there in Matos?
They got a pretty special kid, especially at 21 years old. Like, we're seeing this, and it still might be pretty raw at 21 years old, and I can't imagine. I almost shudder to think what it might be once it gets refined and if it holds up at the major league level, because he has bat-to-ball skills that you can't teach. It's just something that's born. Like, a scout asked me a couple weeks ago, you think more great hitters are made or more great hitters are born? And Luis Matos is the case. That most great hitters are born. Like, he just has this ridiculous hand-eye coordination. He has bat speed like you couldn't believe. I mean, he had a home run. He pulled a home run out 107 miles an hour a couple of days ago, and they showed the animation of where the pitch was, and it was like way down and in. So he does some things that are pretty special and I think God-given. And when you get him to the major league level, if he can keep refining his game, the Giants really have something special in Matos.
How often do you see players come up to your AAA, Zach, and really ignite the way he has going from AA up to that level?
There have been a few, but I mean, the last couple of years I was with Reno, and they were the Diamondbacks team that you're seeing now. I mean, the Corbin Carrolls and the like. And so they would get it going. Like, more often than not, those types of players got it going. This, though, is the first time I've seen it, obviously, with the Giants in my short time since I've been with the Giants/River Cats. I mean, it's a pretty big jump. I mean, it didn't even happen with Patrick Bailey. Like, Bailey was hitting like 200 before he got called up because of a need. So, I think it's pretty rare that you have something like this happen, even though I've been fortunate enough to see it for the last couple of years because I've been with such great organizations.
Zack Bayrouty is with us, the voice of the Sacramento River Cats, and watching this hot streak from Luis Matos, the 21-year-old right-handed outfielder in the Giants organization who is really trying to make a case. Zach, I'll ask it this way, knowing that you're not a scout, but what do you think? Is he ready?
I mean, I think so. How can I not think so? And I've talked to scouts. I'm like, what do you see that's like on the negative side? And there was one scout that when he first came in, he's like, I've seen him a couple of games before, and I'm not really sold. And then Matos went out played that night. The next day, I'm like, so what'd you think? He's like, actually, I'm pretty sold now. So just from scouts' eyes and from the talking that I'm doing with them, he seems pretty ready. That being said, it's probably going to be a big organizational decision, obviously, to bring him. He's already on the 40-man, so not in that way, but like they're going to have to, as you said, make room and figure out, what do you do with Mitch Haniger? Like, you paid him all this money. So I think that it's a macro decision for the Giants as far as how the organization shakes out. I don't think there's a drawback to letting him stay in the PCL. Like, he's still going to face pretty good pitching here, and more importantly, he's going to play every day. And I think there's no drawback to keeping him here. And I don't think there's a rush right now for the Giants to get him up.
We hear about the bat all the time, and it's been incendiary of late. But what about the glove, Zach? Where does he like to play, and what sort of a defender is he?
You know, I saw him make a throw to the plate the other day from left on a medium deep fly ball with a runner tagging from third, and the throw, I was ready to call a big play at the plate. The throw kind of pulled the catcher up the line a little bit, and I was like, okay, maybe it's not quite there yet, as far as the arm. And as far as where he plays, I was doing my Sunday interview with Dave Brundage, our manager, yesterday, and he said, the Giants really want him to play and to be an expert at every station in the outfield. So that is something that he is going to get here as well. Like, he's going to get to play left, right, center, and they're going to move him all over the outfield in an everyday role. So I think they still want to see him develop that. A couple of those spots a little bit more, but hopefully when he gets up, he's a guy that can play and be comfortable and feel comfortable at every station out there.
Zach, give us a little something on Keaton Winn and Kyle Harrison as well. Keaton just got the call, and we're waiting on Kyle Harrison. What do you see with those two?
Well, Winn, I think, was more consistent of late. He really was, and he has a devastating splitter that has just come a long way in the last month. It's been a swing and miss pitch at 90 miles an hour. So I think in terms of consistency and for what they need out of him in terms of the role in the bullpen, a guy that can go 3 innings and get you outs in the big leagues, I think he's there. He's coming back from Tommy John a couple of years ago, obviously, so there's still that as far as the arm health, but he's shown no bad signs from the Tommy John. As far as Harrison, I wish, I've been saying this on air, and I've said it to folks with the Giants, I wish they'd let him go 6 innings and 90 pitches a month ago. They're still really, really being careful about building him up and plateauing him and then taking him up a notch. Like, he was sitting at going 3 innings for a few starts and then no more than 4 innings. And finally, they've let him have the opportunity to go 5 if the pitch count allowed his last 3 starts. He's not made it. He went 4 1/3 his last time out, and that's his longest outing of the season. So, for me, like, if you're talking about Kyle Harris in the big leagues, I want to see him go 5 innings a couple of times in the PCL because they want him to be a front end of the rotation guy. And I think if you want that guy to pitch and be successful in the major leagues, you got to see him go 5 and maybe 3 times through an order.
Zach, I tell you what, we'll call again when Luis gets the call. How about that, man? Thank you very much for hopping on.
Yeah, you got it, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, there it is. Zack Bayrouty, who is the voice of the Sacramento River Cats, and apparently his career was launched by Dan Dibley.